Okay, so it seems like we have another update on the whole ChaChaChilla situation, and now this is starting to get a little bit ridiculous, especially considering where this all started from. If you guys don't know, obviously we all started from that one clip where essentially ChaChaChilla was getting angry at the fact that apparently someone called them inferior and saying that was I guess, like derogatory towards disabled people, which I think is absolutely stupid. And now it's evolved into even more, including ChaChaChilla obviously claiming that they ended up in the hospital, a lot of people trying to call that out, and so many more things. If you guys want to watch everything that's gone on, I've got so many other videos covering every single kind of antic and stuff they've been getting up to. And honestly, I thought they were going to stay silent for a bit because, again, you know, they were silent for a couple of days, right? But no, it seems like they've released this, which, if you don't know, is a Google Doc. And, well, yeah, it's pretty disappointing to see, right? Because, again, a lot of people are already mentally checked out of this drama. And as you can see here, this has 37 likes to 109,000 views. You can tell really the sentiment. And a lot of people aren't even, like, bothered by what is actually in the Google Doc itself. A lot of people are more, you know, bothered about the fact that, hey, you know, they just can't seem to drop anything whenever they are down, right? Because, again, it seems like the entire community consensus is that they are acting a little bit crazy and that, you know, nobody is really supporting them in this. But they continue to keep pushing, keep finding ways to, you know, gain attention for themselves. And now they're doing the classic Google Doc, which obviously is like the ultimate gaining attention for yourself, right? So this is the Google Doc here saying coming forth. Say I'm sincerely sorry about what I posted towards ad-free and flork. I took things way too far. I am forced on my worldview on other people too harshly, when it shouldn't have been forced at all. Whether the intent was there or not, I hurt people and I'm sincerely sorry about that. I never should have posted that clip out of context, and I never should have made that post calling out ad-free and flork. It was just roleplay, and just because my feelings were hurt does not excuse me from pulling the rug from somebody else's feet. I'm sorry to the Minecraft SMP server members for toppling over a supportive and fun environment that's supposed to be building relationships, not breaking them. I'm sorry to the Minecraft SMP staff and owner for bringing a non-issue to their attention and then bringing it to the public's eye. However, I never did any of the things Apollo is accusing me of, and here's the evidence proving Apollo has been slandering me for years. So yeah, if you don't know, obviously Apollo came out with their own tweet as well with a ton of stuff, which obviously it seems like they're going to address here. Is that over the past year, there have been multiple ongoing misunderstandings and claims made about me behind the scenes that I feel like I need to address openly. My goal is not to attack anybody, and please do not direct your harassment at anybody. Nobody needs to go through that, and I am to clarify what happened from my perspective, correct misinformation, and explain why I'm speaking up now. You know, I want to start by acknowledging this situation began with a very painful moment in my life, and that I made many mistakes along the way. I'm not without fault. However, I also believe that the narrative about what happened has become inaccurate, and some of the claims being spread about me are just untrue. In early May of 2023, I was going through an intense period of depression. On May 6th, I made a attempt. I said I reached out to a close friend at the time, who was apollomythos, by sending a message that I should not have sent, a note. In hindsight, this was a serious misjudgment on my part, and I fully understand receiving a message like that can be distressing. Yeah, 100%. You know, you shouldn't just like go send that to a random person. I hope, I don't know, you know, obviously they say it's a close friend of theirs, but again, I do think that's a pretty heavy thing to kind of leave on one person, right? They say after surviving the attempt, I panicked and tried to have the email deleted by reaching out to her partner. Regardless of what happened with the message, both Apollo and her partner initially had shown me support. The day after, while still recovering mentally as well as physically, I joined Apollo's group server to seek social interaction. During this, things became tense, and shortly after, I found myself blocked by Apollo, her partner, and two mutual friends. I had only shared my attempt with Apollo, so the situation was extremely confusing and painful. I want to be clear, I did reach out from two alternate accounts. This was not meant to harass anybody. I was overwhelmed, confused, and trying to understand what happened. Again, you are technically harassing them if you are making two alternate accounts. You know, I think if you made one and maybe they blocked you after that, I think you probably should have gone on the hint, right? And you went and made 2 and went, oh, okay, now I understand. That's a little bit weird. And they say, and why somebody trusted had cut contact with no explanation. I was later told it was implied she needed space, as someone on the autism spectrum implied communication is very hard for me to interpret, and I had also explained this to Apollo. Shortly after, I began hearing people believed I faked my attempt, considering that Apollo was the only person I'd shared the information with. This was shocking to hear. The combination of being blocked by close friends, being told I was lying about a very real attempt, and being socially isolated while already in a crisis led to another attempt on May 9th. This time I required hospitalization, including medical care, and a stay in the psych ward. I experienced temporary hypoxia-related speech issues, and have hospital records that confirm this. They say original documents here, not including screenshot evidence. So over the last... Okay, so they said they have, medical records, but they don't put the medical records to back up that in the Google Doc. Okay, right. Okay, first of all, off to a really bad start there, right? Again, if you were to kind of include hospital records saying that, I have hospital records that can confirm this and don't include it in the doc, you've just made a pretty bad doc there, right? They say original document ends here, not including screenshot evidence. They say over a year later, I became aware that the allegations were still being made about me, specifically claims that I posted revenge blank and doxed Apollo. I want to make this absolutely clear. I never had access to anyone's personal information, legal name or address. I was never sent explicit photos. I was never sent explicit photos. I did not post or distribute anything of the nature. These claims have been heavy consequences for me, including being blacklisted from opportunities. When I attempted to clarify the situation with the company involved, I was told that the screenshots were fake, and I was threatened with legal action. When I asked for proof that certain deleted messages could be recovered, I did not receive any. Also, a former member of the company, Hades, contacted me from an alternate account to explain they were not allowed to speak with me because of the situation, even further suggesting internal communication was influenced by misinformation. I've stayed quiet for a long time now because I was scared and because I was threatened with legal consequences. Now that I understand those threats had no legal basis and that misinformation is still circling, I feel like I have the right to defend myself and present the truth as I experienced it. I have documentation to support my hospitalization, proof of conversation, and additional context that I'm willing to share. My hope is not to reignite conflict, but to advocate for myself and provide clarity to the situation that has affected my reputation and mental well-being. That's essentially what they write in this document. And then they follow it up with a ton of screenshots about, obviously some stuff that they've been talking about. Obviously, Bunny Alisu is the account that, ChaChaChilla does use, and is their kind of, alt account or whatever, one of their alt accounts. I think it's a very interesting one because obviously ChaChaChilla has been known to obviously twist a lot of things and to essentially lie, which obviously has not really kind of helped her in terms of her reputation. Now, obviously, a lot of stuff should be taken seriously, but when you've been kind of, crying wolf for the entire time, nobody's going to take you seriously whenever you release a Google Doc like this, right? And I think that the fact that, there is no kind of medical records on here as well, which you said that you could, back up proof with, and that's not being shown there. Some people are very skeptical about that too. And I also think as well, we don't really have a full picture of the situation, especially from the side of Apollo or anything, because Apollo hasn't made any kind of Google Doc or whatever calling them out for, all of the stuff like the doxing and things. They did make a Twitter post saying that's what they were accused of, but they never actually came out with, the evidence and the document behind it. They literally just said it, right? And a lot of people have been saying I provided evidence that Apollo has been slandering me for years. No, you literally didn't. You showed her once warning you about someone. That's literally it, Lamau. That doesn't even count for slandering. You need to log out and stop this obsession. This is just sad. And yeah, whenever you go into some of the screenshots here, they say, thank you. I have no doubt in my mind, Apollo. I told this company lies. This is completely understandable. Again, a lot of these screenshots are just people keeping in touch and stuff. And again, as the person says there in the in the reply, right, it seems like there isn't actually much evidence of them spreading kind of, slanderous stuff. It just seems like, somebody was warning them. It was warning them or something, which again, I think is pretty interesting. But again, I think that all of this has been kind of way overblown, right? They say, so saying I faked a attempt that I didn't fake is not slandering, which again, I mean, it could be considered slandering, but I don't know, you know, that's the thing, right? Because they could have, absolute evidence behind that to prove that, you know, that didn't happen. Again, something said, Google Doc, you said, I see that you only apply statements made as true when it's somebody you like and not when they provide evidence. Again, they didn't even say anything. They just said Google Docky. Huh? Okay, that's pretty crazy. Anyways, I say one bomb, no one cares. It says, did you even read the document? I provided evidence that Apollo has been slandering me for years. And then obviously said, I'm currently reading it, but surely you can understand that the hard fact that you doubled down on so many occasions, I've lost count. I'm legit expecting more bullshit lies, fake apologies, and finger pointing. I don't trust you as far as I could throw you. It said, I provided screenshot evidence. I don't think that's bullshit lies, and the only thing I've doubled down on involved Apollo and me not doing the thing that she's accused of. It says, I'm not even a minute in, and you've clearly glossed over something that that very clearly sets the stage with this highlight. So what was this message you sent them? Because clearly it upset them, and you expected them people to read the past. Obviously, yeah, as you can see here, you know, I reached out to a close friend who was apollomythos, which, yeah, was the message that they shouldn't have sent. And obviously they said it was a note, which, again, they said, I'm confused. After finishing this based on one of your screenshots, you said that you viewed Apollo as a close friend, yet you have no conversations with them on Discord. How does this play out? They said, I had conversations with a past life, which I did not include the name of to avoid any further drama. So, again, obviously it seems convenient that, you know, this was talking with her past life this time. Again, they're being called out on a lot of things as well. You got Azahara here saying, just stop, you know, honestly, just log off and go outside. 100% true, you know. Some people saying, am I the only one who can't read any of the proof? Like, is it just me or is it illegible? Again, I think that might be just them. I think it's just like a loading thing, because I can read every single message here. And you guys can go through it in detail if you want to, because again, you know, it is important to at least take a look at every single side. But as I said, it doesn't look great whenever you've been obviously doing all of this kind of stuff before, you know, and doubling down on things. Obviously, there's this post as well saying, be me, totally mental, stable VTuber, start my 12-page legal defense manifesto by apologizing for griefing a Minecraft server. Sorry for ruining the roleplay, you guys. Now that the important stuff is out of the way, let's talk about my attempts. I say, May 2023, decided to trauma dump a note into a co-worker's DM. Instantly regrets it. Wait, never mind, lol, don't read that, they blocked me. Decided to go to the psych ward to find receipts for the inevitable Google Doc drop a year later. Fast forward 1 year. Here, rumors that the girl I trauma dumped on doesn't want to work with me. Emails her agency, literally just a Discord server. Demands they took a hospital, demand they look at my hospital admission forms. Look at my medical history. I demand you to be my friend again. It's a elder upper management. It's a guy with a raccoon avatar named Trey. Claims he has NSA level access to Discord servers. I can recover messages you deleted 3 weeks ago because I know how cache works, which is quite funny. They tell him that tell him that's technically impossible. Says, don't talk to me. I'm at a funeral. Leave me alone. He types this while actively replying to me. Agency sends me cease and desist written in MS Notepad. We investigated ourselves and found that you are lying. Accuse me of doxing revenge and doxing and everything. Say I've been posting sad anime girls and hospital wristbands. Post the entire saga online to clear my name, expecting the internet to rally behind me. And obviously, yeah, that's a really good summary behind you know, what is going on at the moment. And yeah, I don't understand what is going on in her head there, because again, if you send a message like that, a note like that to somebody, they're not going to exactly be the happiest with you, right? Because again, you are kind of trauma dumping all of that onto them, especially if, you know, you were successful with that. You know, that is something that you have to carry with you for the rest of your life if they have, you know, sent that to you specifically, right? So again, I do think that, you know, obviously Apollo was completely justified in cutting off any contact and, you know, being unhappy with the fact that you'd sent that to her. And again, I don't think, you know, she's in the wrong here, right? I think this Google Doc is stupid. I think this entire drama is stupid. And I think, you know, you need to get off of Twitter, log out, and just go and touch some grass for a bit. Because again, this is getting pretty ridiculous. And I know I say this every single video, and I know they're not gonna, because they keep constantly making it worse and doubling down. And you know, as long as they're getting views, as long as they're getting millions of views, I think, you know, they're pretty happy, right? And you know, this is very obviously a play for popularity, not popularity, because again, they're not very exactly popular, but for attention, right? They're getting attention by doing all of this kind of stuff, and as long as they're getting attention, well, they're going to continue to do it. And I think, you know, that is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, essentially that is all there is for the situation and for this Google Doc. Again, as I said, there will be a link down below if you guys want to read the text messages in more detail. But I thought this was a pretty ridiculous kind of situation that has been going on, and it just needs to stop now, right? Because again, it's just getting a little bit stupid. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to Game Subs, use my code ChaChaChilla, get 10% off, and they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.